Item Number SCP-Y-049. Object Class Euclid. Special Containment Procedures. All known SCP-Y-049-A hosts, individuals or animals previously infected by SCP-Y-049, are housed at Site-Y-1, where they undergo continuous neurological monitoring and cognitive assessments to track the degradation and assimilation of foreign memories. Site-Y-2, located within Provisional Reality-Y-1, maintains a specialized containment laboratory, outfitted with high-sensitivity, anomalous neuroelectric field sensors, capable of detecting SCP-Y-049's presence before it physically manifests. Any personnel exhibiting sudden discrepancies in personal history, lapses in personal memory, or unexplained familiarity with deceased individuals' recollections are to be immediately quarantined for potential SCP-Y-049 infestation. Non-human contained SCP-Y-049-A instances are equipped with neural-linked AI callers to facilitate communication and cognitive tracking. These devices allow for verbal expression of inherited memories and serve as an early warning system for memory destabilization events. As SCP-Y-049 cannot be captured or physically contained during its transitory phase, all containment efforts remain reactive rather than preventative, necessitating constant vigilance from Foundation personnel stationed at both Site-Y-1 and Site-Y-2. Description: SCP-Y-049 is an anomalous neural parasite originating from Provisional Reality-Y-1, which primarily exists within a non-physical plane until it successfully attaches itself to a host's central nervous system. The entity exclusively targets medium to large-sized organisms with a developed cerebral structure, demonstrating an overwhelming preference for human hosts. Upon successful attachment, SCP-Y-049 initiates a gradual neural conversion process, systematically replacing the host's cognitive architecture with the preserved consciousness and memories of its previous human host. Neurological impact and memory transference. SCP-Y-049 primarily invades the cerebral cortex, hippocampus, and prefrontal cortex, regions of the brain associated with memory formation, recall, executive function, and identity processing. The infection progresses through a structured sequence, spanning approximately 8 months, in which the host's memories are incrementally eroded and supplanted with the transferred consciousness of the prior host. Stages of infestation. Initial neural integration, weeks 1 through 4. SCP-Y-049 infiltrates the synaptic pathways of the host's hippocampus, thalamus, and cortical networks, initiating the process of cognitive suppression. Subjects report mild dissociation, a pervasive sense of déjà vu for locations they have never visited, and intermittent gaps in short-term memory. Electroencephalogram, EEG. Readings reveal erratic neurological desynchronization, as if multiple cognitive frameworks are intermittently phasing within the host's brain activity. Increased activation of the default mode network, DMN, suggesting heightened introspective and autobiographical recall, not belonging to the host. Progressive cognitive overlap, months 2 through 4. The host's original memories begin fragmenting, with progressive dominance of the previous host's recollections. Subjects begin exhibiting automatic behaviors incongruent with their known skill set, such as speaking unfamiliar languages, utilizing motor functions beyond prior training, and exhibiting inexplicable emotional responses to stimuli. MRI scans display anomalous restructuring of the neocortex, revealing dense, black, tendril-like formations that actively shift positions between imaging sessions. Hosts begin experiencing self-identity conflict, verbalizing existential distress such as, "I'm becoming someone else, but I don't know who." Complete cognitive override, months 5 through 8. The host's entire neural configuration is overwritten, mirroring the synaptic architecture of SCP-Y-049's last human carrier. Subjects lose all autobiographical memory of their prior existence, identifying fully as the transferred consciousness without awareness of the transference process. SCP-Y-049 then fully demanifests, returning to its non-physical state and seeking a new host. Functional MRI scans show persistent neurological activity in previously dormant regions, suggesting SCP-Y-049 reconfigures neural pathways to match its prior host's identity. Post-Parasite Degeneration, years 3 through 14. Hosts retain full cognitive faculties for an extended period, but remain biologically linked to SCP-Y-049's anomalous imprint. Sometime between 3 and 14 years post-infestation, the host develops rapid-onset neurodegeneration, culminating in a sudden and catastrophic failure of all higher brain functions. EEG readings from terminal stage hosts display abrupt neurological desynchronization, akin to large-scale synaptic collapse, anomalous effects on brain scans, and imaging. SCP-Y-049 produces highly anomalous distortions in neurological imaging, presenting inconsistencies between scan data and the subject's actual neurophysiology. Active brain scans, including MRIs, PET scans, and fMRI studies, reveal unexplained structural fluctuations, often displaying temporary deformations that revert upon reimaging. The following are some documented imaging anomalies: tendril-like growths. MRI scans of SCP-Y-049 infected hosts consistently display a network of writhing, black formations embedded within the gray matter. These growths shift positions in real time, appearing in one region of the brain before relocating within seconds, despite no observable physiological changes in the host. Neurologists have described this phenomenon as a, quote, non-Euclidean neural architecture, suggesting anomalous spatial configurations at a subcellular level. Rotational displacement. Multiple imaging studies have recorded instances where the host's entire brain appears partially rotated or misaligned, only to return to its original position in subsequent scans. One recorded case exhibited a 30-degree axial rotation of the host's brain within the cranial cavity, without any observable trauma or organic displacement. These distortions suggest SCP-Y-049 actively manipulates spatial perception at a neurological level, reinforcing theories that it does not merely alter memory, but reconfigures spatial cognition itself. Impossible neural configurations. fMRI scans reveal SCP-Y-049 modifies interhemispheric connectivity, forming networks inconsistent with any known neurobiological structures. Some scans display entire regions of the brain appearing disconnected, with synthetic pathways forming between disparate functional areas. Post-mortem examinations of SCP-Y-049-A instances confirm no physical evidence of these altered pathways, suggesting the parasite creates neural illusions that exist only at the cognitive level. Temporal looping artifacts. EEG recordings from infected individuals display recurring signal bursts, identical to previously recorded brainwave activity, suggesting localized time recursion within the neural network. One subject displayed an identical sequence of brain activity across 5 separate EEG sessions, despite real-time cognitive function being fluid and reactive. Research and containment implications. The persistence of SCP-Y-049's neural imprint, post-extraction, indicates that residual cognitive restructuring may be irreversible. Attempts to surgically extract or neutralize SCP-Y-049 from an infected host have universally failed, as the parasite immediately reverts to its non-physical state, evading all known intervention methods. Long-term studies suggest that even after SCP-Y-049 demanifests, residual neurological distortions persist, accelerating the host's eventual cognitive degradation. Researchers hypothesize that SCP-Y-049 may not only overwrite memory, but actively restructures perception, causing altered self-awareness and subjective reality shifts. First known infection event. The first confirmed case of SCP-Y-049's presence occurred within Site-Y2, the Foundation's research outpost in Provisional Reality-Y-1. Senior researcher Dr. Edgar Langley, stationed at Site-Y2, began exhibiting behavior inconsistent with his established psychological profile, including the following anomalous signs: speaking in a different vocal cadence, and utilizing unfamiliar vernacular, displaying knowledge of events he had no prior exposure to, attempting to contact individuals who were confirmed deceased. Under routine cognitive evaluation, Dr. Langley was found to possess detailed recollections of the life and experiences of a former D-Class personnel, designated D-72841, who had perished within Provisional Reality-Y-1 1 year prior. D-72841 had previously reported experiencing extreme cognitive dissonance before his disappearance, claiming that his thoughts did not feel like his own. Subsequent testing confirmed that Dr. Langley had been infested by SCP-Y-049, having unknowingly become the new carrier of D-72841's memories. Langley maintained a dual consciousness state for several months, describing it as feeling as though his thoughts were overlaid with those of another human. By the 8th month, Langley's original identity had entirely faded, leaving only the personality and recollections of D-72841. Upon demanifestation of SCP-Y-049, Dr. Langley had continued to live as D-72841, experiencing gradual deterioration until he succumbed to irreversible cognitive failure 6 years later. Addendum Y-49-3. The Case of Dr. Ivan Kjack. Date: March 1st, 2000. Summary. Among the most significant recorded SCP-Y-049 events involved Dr. Ivan Kjack, a researcher and lead investigator on SCP-Y-049's properties at Site-Y1. Diagnosed with terminal heart failure, Dr. Kjack sought to deliberately attract SCP-Y-049, theorizing that controlled exposure would allow the Foundation to gather critical data on its selection process and transition mechanisms. Despite numerous failed controlled exposure tests, SCP-Y-049 eventually selected Kjack as its next host, though evidence suggests that this was due to his prolonged proximity to the anomaly, rather than any deliberate manipulation. Over the following 8 months, Dr. Kjack's memories were systematically erased and supplanted, leading to his complete transformation into the prior host's consciousness. before SCP-Y-049 once again demanifested. 1 year later, Site Y-1 research teams identified 2 anomalous cases of human cognitive retention in non-human subjects. SCP-Y-049-1A, a German Shepherd. SCP-Y-049-1B, a Kodiak Bear. Both animals exhibited advanced cognition, human speech comprehension, and precise recollections of Dr. Kjack's life and research. Each demonstrated fluency in multiple languages, proficiency in mathematical and scientific reasoning, and an acute awareness of Foundation operations. To facilitate communication, Foundation engineers developed a neural-linked AI system that allows both entities to speak using Dr. Kjack's original voice, synthesizing their responses through a vocal interface caller. This particular incident proved that SCP-Y-049 was capable of supplanting the memories of one human into multiple animal subjects, if it so chooses, as well as reinforcing Dr. Kjack's original theory that SCP-Y-049 only collects and disperses the memories of human hosts. Ongoing research and ethical concerns. SCP-Y-049 poses significant ethical dilemmas, particularly regarding its long-term effects on former hosts and the question of identity preservation. The phenomenon of forced memory inheritance challenges fundamental notions of selfhood and continuity, raising pressing concerns over whether hosts remain themselves or become entirely new individuals upon full memory assimilation. Additionally, the emergence of non-human SCP-Y-049-A instances with retained human intelligence presents new challenges for containment, study, and classification. The implications of a sentient, reasoning entity within an animal's body remain an ongoing subject of inquiry. Future research will focus on determining whether SCP-Y-049 follows specific selection criteria in host selection, identifying mechanisms to disrupt or slow the memory replacement process, investigating whether former hosts can be neurologically stabilized before dementia onset, assessing whether SCP-Y-049 can be influenced or deterred from manifesting altogether, testing logs and research developments. Since SCP-Y-049's discovery, extensive testing has been conducted to determine the mechanisms of its host selection, memory transfer process, and long-term effects on former hosts. Research remains ongoing regarding its method of traversing the non-physical plane, and whether its influence can be mitigated. Test Log Y-49-3. Controlled exposure on a canine subject. Objective: to observe SCP-Y-049's memory transference process in a controlled environment using a selected, non-human host. Procedure: a German Shepherd, designated SCP-Y-049-1A, was housed in a monitored containment chamber with no prior human exposure. SCP-Y-049 was detected entering its transitory phase within the chamber, and within 48 hours, the canine exhibited neurological changes consistent with previous human host inheritance. Results: SCP-Y-049-1A began exhibiting behavioral anomalies, including attempting to operate a door handle and mimicking human speech patterns through vocalized growls. After 4 months, SCP-Y-049-1A demonstrated full human cognitive awareness, confirming it had inherited the memories of its last human host. The transferred memories belonged to Dr. Ivan Kjack, matching those later discovered in SCP-Y-049-1B. The canine responded to Dr. Kjack's name, spoke in Russian-inflected English via neural-linked AI, and exhibited recognition of Foundation researchers from Kjack's tenure. Test Log Y-49-7. Introducing Selective Memory Transfer. Objective: to determine whether SCP-Y-049 can be directed to selectively retain or discard certain memories during transference. Procedure: using a D-class test subject with deliberately implanted false memories, researchers exposed SCP-Y-049 to the host and tracked memory integrity following full transference. Upon SCP-Y-049's detachment, a new host, a Indo-Chinese rhesus macaque, was infected. Results: SCP-Y-049 transferred the false memories as though they were real, proving it does not differentiate between factual and implanted recollections. The new host displayed gaps and contradictions in recollection, leading to severe cognitive dissonance and psychological distress. After 16 months, the subject suffered extreme neural degradation, accelerating dementia-like symptoms far beyond normal onset periods. Test was terminated, leading to new directives prohibiting tampering with memory integrity prior to SCP-Y-049 infestation. Incident Report Y-49-32. Subject: SCP-Y-049-1B, a Kodiak bear. Location of discovery: northern, approximately 110 kilometers from Site Y-1. Summary: approximately 1 year after the confirmed death of Dr. Ivan Kjack, reports surfaced of a highly anomalous Kodiak bear displaying intelligent behavior near remote areas outside Site Y-1's restricted perimeter. Initial field reports from local wildlife officials described the bear as follows: exhibiting human-like problem-solving skills, avoiding standard baited traps, in a manner indicating prior knowledge of such methods, displaying an unusual awareness of nearby human activity, seemingly eavesdropping on conversations, scratching Russian words into trees, including phrases such as, quote, "I need coffee," and "This is ridiculous." A small team from MTF Zeta-0, Bad Bunch, was deployed to capture the anomalous bear for study. Upon containment, the bear was relocated to Site Y-1 and fitted with a neural-linked AI collar identical to that of SCP-Y-049-1A. Initial communication attempts. After calibration, Y-049-1B spoke using Dr. Kjack's voice, addressing Foundation personnel by name and immediately requesting an interview regarding SCP-Y-049 research. Interview Log Y-049-1B1. Interviewer: Dr. Richard. Location: reinforced secure interrogation room. Begin log.
Dr. Kjack, can you understand me?
Of course I can. I'm not deaf, just fuzzy.
Right. Well then, let's start with the basics. Do you know who you are?
I know exactly who I am. I am Dr. Ivan Kjack. Or rather, I was. I'm not sure if that title applies anymore, given my current situation.
How much of your memory remains intact?
Everything. Every equation I ever wrote, every conversation I had in these halls, every late night I spent theorizing about that damn brain parasite. And yet, I can't seem to hold a pen. A small inconvenience. Eh? Do you get it? I'm going to need a bigger pen.
We have confirmed SCP-Y-049 transferred your memories to 2 separate hosts. Do you recall anything from the transfer process?
Only fragments. As if I were slipping through something fluid. Then, nothing. And then I woke up like this. If I were superstitious, I'd say it was karma.
Do you feel human?
I feel like me, but I also feel aware of instincts I've never had before. I can smell the nervousness in this room. I can hear conversations happening 4 rooms away. And yet, in my mind, I still think in equations. It's disorienting, to say the least. This would be easier with coffee, huh? You think so? I think so.
Excuse me?
Yeah, coffee. The blend I used to keep in my quarters. I assume you still have it there. You didn't throw all my shit away, did you? Brew us a pot. It'll be nice.
Well, I guess there's no harm. We'll have the security personnel look through your secured belongings. I suppose we'll need a very large cup as well.
I need a bigger cup. Anyways, I'd like to be back on the research team. I'm not done with that stupid brain parasite. I know I was on the edge of finding out something new. Let me back on the team. I'm going to need a very, very large lab coat, huh? Conclusion. SCP-Y-049 represents an unprecedented model of parasitic cognition transfer, challenging existing paradigms regarding biological memory retention, identity persistence, and the neuroplastic limits of the human brain. The entity's ability to manipulate cerebral structures, distort neural imaging, and phase between physical and non-physical states make it one of the more enigmatic and cognitohazardous parasitic anomalies currently under Foundation investigation. SCP-Y-049's true nature, limitations, and potential methods of neutralization remain elusive until containment advancements are achieved. Prolonged host monitoring remains the Foundation's primary strategy for mitigating its anomalous effects. This is Director Waller, signing off on another report at Site Y1. I hope you'll consider subscribing to stay up to date with our latest findings. I eagerly look forward to having your audience in future reports.